All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book of the Bible. All right, so once again, we're in this book, all right, Project L.U.C.I.D, all right, written by Texe. All right, I did 3 other videos going into this book, all right, previously. All right, and you know, I've been flipping through the pages doing lessons on what's written in this book, right? Because this book goes into the mark of the beast, all right, the RFID microchip, all right? That is what the mark of the beast is, man. All right, the RFID microchip. All right, we tell you with great certainty and with great surety, man, that this is what the mark of the beast is. All right, starting with the Israelites of Great Millstone and the ones that teach in like manner. All right, we have been teaching and prophesying and warning you, all right, that this is what the mark of the beast is, and it's getting ready to come. It's at the door. All right, we don't have too much longer here, man. All right, and we've been warning you, so when it comes, all right, you know to stay away from it. And you're going to know that a prophet has been among you, man. All right, because these false prophets are telling you that the mark of the beast is not the RFID microchip. All right, and the false prophets will also tell you that, we were not sure, some bullshit, man. All right, but the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord are out here warning you, telling you exactly what it is. All right, because that's the whole point, to give warning. All right, like the Lord told Ezekiel, man, to give them warning from me. All right, so that when it comes to pass, they gonna know a prophet has been among them. Yay, they did say this was coming, right? They did warn us about it, right? All right. So, like I said, man, I want to get into, I've been flipping through the pages going into this book, doing lessons on it. And I want to get into, the beginning of this book, chapter 1, as you see the table of contents right here. Maybe you can see it. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. Oh, damn, I kind of messed it up for you. All right, let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see it. The table of contents. All right, chapter 1, Project L.U.C.I.D, the Beast 666 Universal Human Control System. And that's exactly what the elites want to do. All right, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the so-called Caucasian man, our number one enemy to you Israelites, the number one enemy to you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of, starting with them. All right, they want a new world order. All right, and part of that new world order agenda is to have complete control of this entire planet Earth. All right, complete control, enslavement, all right, through their technology, which is the mark of the beast, man. All right, the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast the Bible speaks of, right? So this is a good book, man. Y'all should get into it, all right? Chapter 1, Project L.U.C.I.D. Chapter 2, No Place Left to Hide, all right? Chapter 3, New Mark Card, all right? Chapter 4, Implantable Biochips, and I did a lesson on this, right? Chapter 5, Mystery Mark of the New Age, right? Chapter 7, Blood Money, Corporate Profiteering and Making, all right, the Making. Chapter 8, Worldwide Project of the Illuminati. Chapter 9, Silicon Octopus, all right? Men trapped inside electronic cages, all right? So let's just get into chapter 1, man. Let's just, I think it's page 14. All right, yeah, chapter 1, Project L.U.C.I.D, the Beast 666, all right, Universal Human Control System. Again, that's, how do you think they gonna do that, man? Huh? How do you think they gonna do that? The RFID microchip, that is what the mark of the beast is. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right? And you won't be able to buy or sell without this mark, man. You know? All right, so let's just get into it. All right, so it says astonishing. Let me see if y'all can see it on the screen first of all. All right, all right. Usually I use the screen recorder, but you know, I've been recording it off screen with my phone. All right, because my screen recorder isn't working right now. All right. So it says astonishing. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see, right? So it says astonishing and undeniable evidence exists of an incredible new beast 666 universal human control system. That's right. It is very evident. It is beyond evident. All right, that the mark of the beast is the RFID microchip. And you got bugged out Israelites, bro. Proud as hell too, man. Proud as hell. All right, like ISUPK, right? Captain Tazariot and them, right? You know, talking about the mark of the beast is not the chip, man. You know? Which, come on, man. It is so, why do you think everything's moving toward a digital and cashless age, man? You know, all societies are moving toward a digital and cashless society because, you know, the masses are being prepped and conditioned to take the MOTB, the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip, right? And you got Israelite camps that, you know, that can't even see that, or they can see it, all right, but they've been paid off, man. You know? So astonishing and undeniable evidence exists of an incredible new beast 666 universal human control system, right? And you got people that don't even know about this. You know, the masses they are asleep to another level. You know, Isaiah, the 60th chapter says, gross darkness shall cover the earth. These people are zombies, man. Are zombies. All right? It says, officially called L.U.C.I.D, all right? It is a grotesque system of universal slavery, all right? Yeah, that's the whole point. All right, of the RFID microchip, to enslave everyone on this earth. Complete control. That also goes into the God complex that Esau Edom has. All right. It says, which, even as you read this, is being implemented. All right. Yeah. All right. It's right here. It's at the door. The RFID microchip, the mark of the beast, is here, man. All right, it's just that the elites, they're waiting for the right type of chaos, all right, a right type of global chaos to implement the mark of the beast, man, the RFID microchip, all right? And the scamdemic, the pandemic that popped off in 2020, all right, that was a dress rehearsal, right? That was what's the word for it? A prelude, right? To what's to come. All right, that was a test run for the mark of the beast, man. Right, the elites wanted to see how much control they had, right? So it says it is a grotesque system of universal slavery, which, even as you read this, is being implemented by federal and international intelligence police agencies, right? It says the Beast 666 system mandates that every man, woman, and child on the planet Earth be issued a high-tech smart ID card, all right, in the form of a chip, man. All right, called a universal biometrics card. All right, and you know that's why they have the debit cards and the credit cards with the chips in them. But it's all gradualism. It's all going to lead up to an actual physical microchip that the elites want to implant under your skin, man. All right, the digital chocolate chip that the elites want to implant under your skin, right? Because the scriptures say he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. All right, so men, women, children, right? Newborn babies, right? It says, the Beast 666 system mandates that every man, woman, and child on planet Earth, be issued a high-tech smart ID card, all right, called Universal Biometrics Card. And, you know, this is how we know these wacky-tacky Christian pastors that you go to see in church on Sundays, they're not the true prophets of the Lord. They're not telling you about this, right? They're not warning you about this, right? Because this is a major and critical prophecy, man. All right? And how are you to know to stay away from it, or even to know what it is, if you're not being warned about it? Right? Did not the Lord tell Ezekiel, all right, in Ezekiel the 3rd chapter, to give them warning from? This is what prophets do. They prophesy. They break things down correctly in the right way, warning you, so that when things come to pass, you're going to know that a prophet has been among you, man. Right? Because till this day, people still don't know what the mark of the beast is. They don't know anything about the mark of the beast. They don't know it's written in the scriptures, right? So the Lord set up men out to warn his elect, to wake up and warn his elect, to let them know that these things are coming, man. Right? It says the chilling system is slated to be fully in operation by the year 2000. All right, but the Lord held things off, because now we're in 2026 and it's getting ready to pop off. See, the Lord slowed things down because it wasn't time yet, right? Shoot, I didn't wake up into this truth until 2015. Right? I know a lot of people came in around the year 2008, 2009, and 10, right? It says to celebrate, all right, the dawn of a new age millennium, all right? This computerized ID card to be followed eventually by an implanted biochip. Yep. All right, this is what it's all going to boil down to, all right? Come to, all right, and boil down to, right? Whether you're going to take it or not, all right? Later chapters in this Bible all right, later chapters in this book is titled do or die, because it's a do or die situation. That's exactly what it is. A do or die. You either take it or you don't. You either get your head chopped off or you don't. All right, and the true men and the true servants of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Raptazah, you know, I'm part of the elect. All right, they're going to get their heads chopped off. You know, the scriptures say they love not their lives unto death, right? It says this computerized, hold on a sec. Let's keep it going. I had to pause the video for a sec. So it says this computerized ID card to be followed eventually by an implanted biochip, right? It says is an electronic straitjacket, that allows the New World Order's Gestapo to track and link every man, woman, and child on planet Earth. Yeah, it's going to be a tracking device, a slavery device, right? Because they're going to know your whereabouts in real time, right? Where you're at, how many steps you took, right, today, right? Right? It says our activities are going to be monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, by federal Gestapo agencies, the FBI, IRS, the BAT, FCIA, DIA, DEA, NSA, NRO, all right, FinCEN, and the U.S. Treasury Service, all right, the Department of Justice, and countless other alphabet spook and police agencies. All right, their numbers multiply almost weekly. Right, international police and intelligence agencies will also be linked with the Beast 66 system, all right, to include America's Big Brother enforcing CIA, the vicious Russian KGB, all right, the devious and wicked British intelligence service, all right, and Israel's terroristic and bloody Mossad spy organization, right? So let's keep reading. It says no privacy with the Orwellian Beast ID system. Yeah, it's total control, right? It says the computerized, all right, universal biometrics card, all right, guarantees the control and surveillance of every living human being, and that's exactly what they want: complete control over this planet Earth, all right, to enslave this Earth with their technology, the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast that the Bible speaks of. All right, the card will contain templates, all right, or samples of the individual's DNA genotype and his or her human leukocyte, all right, antigen, all right. All right, the artificial intelligence software and special sensors, all right, loaded into the card will also implement a number of other identification methods, including the capture of such human features as profile and facial photos, fingerprints, all right, footprints, and iris scans of the eye. Yeah, all this information is going to be on that chip, man. All right, the microchip, right? That, you know, when you go all the way back to the etymology of the word charagma, it goes into the word grapho, which means writing and information to record, because that's what's going to be on the microchip. All types of information, your fingerprints, your facial photos, iris scans, all right, footprints, all right, your financial accounts. It's going to be a GPS. Is, you know, complete control. They can take, if you owe them money, they'll take it right out of your chip, man. All right, which holds your money, man. You know, it takes it right at your bank account, man. Right, they could turn your chip off if they deem you as a rebel. You know, complete control, man. Right. You become Esau Edom's lollipop, right? Satan's lollipop, right? But you are, I'm talking to you elect out there, man. All right, you are not to take the RFID microchip. You are not to take the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. You are to die and to be put to death, like Yahushua said, man. Be faithful unto death, and I shall give thee a crown of life. You get your head chopped off instead of taking the mark of the beast. That's the automatic crown in the kingdom of heaven. An automatic crown. You're going to be the first one to raise up and get beamed up into those chariots, man. Right? It says a computerized pen-like fiber optic and laser camera will be used at ID card ensuing centers to be set up around the world. Yeah, because, well, you know, this phase is going to be skipped. It's going to go right to the straight RFID microchip, right? But it says, you know, you could put this in place with the chipping stations, all right? Because there's going to be chipping stations, man. All right, a computerized pen-like fiber optic and laser camera will be used at ID card ensuing centers to be set up around the world. All citizens will be ordered to report to these centers, all right, and volunteer their bodies, all right, to camera devices so that the ID card can instantly be manufactured and issued. That's right, man. They're going to set up chipping stations, right? It says babies born in the future will immediately be entered into the system at hospitals and other birthing centers. That's crazy, bro. Right? It says sophisticated, but that's how it's going to be. Right? People, bro. As soon as a baby's born, they're going to get hit, bro. That's great. They're going to get chipped, man. All right, sophisticated international computerized telecommunications and intelligence gathering centers have already been established in preparation for the for the issuance of the new human control cards. All right, this is when the microchip is made mandatory. Right, it says the world's most advanced supercomputers are being utilized. All right, all spy information acquired on humans, plus the future data from their universal biometric cards, all right, is to be fed into the gigantic network, all right, which is called the Universal Computerized Identification Clearinghouse Resource Center. This center is the very heart of the evil L.U.C.I.D or Beast 666 Universal Human Control System. All right, L.U.C.I.D reports one reliable source. It is an interactive and instantaneous tracking system of all living beings on Earth. It is designed so that no one can escape its clutches. No one. All right, yeah, because you either take it or you get put to death, right? But the elect are going to be put to death. The elect are gonna, bro. The elect is gonna have that spirit, bro. That's gonna be like, yo, take my head off, man. Because the elect is the elect for. That's why they're the elect. The elect is gonna have that spirit, like, yo, take my head off, because Apostle John, right? Apostle John, right? Seen it, right? He's seen the elect being beheaded, all right, for not taking the mark of the beast, right? That's in I think it's in the 14th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, the 14th chapter or the 20th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, of the book of Revelations, right? So it says, let's keep reading, next page. Right, so you see, news articles, right? It says information about L.U.C.I.D system was published in the NARC Officer magazine, all right? Included was this shocking chart depicting on how a typical family, all right, husband, wife, and 2 kids, is to be minutely controlled by ID cards linked with the global net, all right? And you see it, bro. All right, it says Gestapo agencies to arrest anti-government suspects. All right, anyone that wants to rebel, right? It says, while its designers, all right, would deny it, all right, I believe that federal and international Gestapo agencies will use the instantaneous information maintained on file at the B666 Universal Computer Center to trace, investigate, monitor, spy on, arrest, and incarcerate resistors, right? It says, from the highly confidential insider information I have privately received, it is obvious that resistors are categorized as any and all persons who protest or oppose the Illuminati's fascist agenda for the New World Order, right? It says recently introduced, all right, so-called anti-terrorist, all right, legislation, all right, plus the omnibus, all right, anti-crime bill of 1994 are the catalysts which make possible the immediate arrest and imprisonment of any or all persons suspected of being a quote-unquote terrorist, right? It says these persons shall be deemed as risk to internal security, all right? And that's how they look at the prophets, the true prophets of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, all right? Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, all right? The true prophets of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, all right? So it says significantly, all right, the arrest of a targeted Christian, and the true Christians are the Israelites, man, all right? The Israelite prophets, man, all right? It says significantly the arrest, all right, not no modern, not no somebody who follows modern day plantation Christianity, man, all right? Significantly the arrest, all right, are targeted Christian patriot, all right, and other citizen, all right, or other citizen will take place whether or not that person has actually committed a criminal act, all right? Thought crimes, all right, alone provide justification for the arrest of descendants, all right? Arrest of targeted citizens are to be euphemistically called preventive detention, all right? All right, and this is how they're gonna come upon the like the scriptures say, all right? Then shall they know who are my chosen, right? Because they're getting ready to come upon the prophets hard, bro. And people are gonna realize, like, yo, why they coming after them like that? And that's why the scriptures say, then shall they know who are my chosen, right? Homes and other private property will be seized, right? And the scriptures talk about, when this martial law pops off, right? It says, they shall, basically ransack their homes, right? They shall go into their dwelling places, and they should be like madmen, sparing none, right? It says the person's home, auto, bank account, and other property shall be seized, right? This will be accomplished under existing forfeiture laws, all right? Originally designed to stop drug dealers and kingpins, all right, but now being used across America by Gestapo police to harass and bankrupt private citizens opposed to Big Brother's government criminal activities. These forfeiture laws also conveniently used by federal agencies and local law enforcement, all right, authorities throughout the 50 states to grab the property of people not guilty of any crime, all right. No court order, no warrant is needed. All right, let's continue. It says, recently, treasonous federal courts have ripped to shreds over 200 years of American constitutional law, ruling that a person's property has no constitutional rights. All right. All right. The Constitution been thrown out, bro. You know? It says processing centers, all right, or concentration. That's what's coming. That is what's coming. All right. Matter of fact, let's get it, bro. Let's get it, because you know when this RFID chip is made mandatory, all right, under the punishment of death, you know, people are going to get thrown. People are going to get thrown into prisons and concentration camps and chicken coops to be tried and tortured, right? But what the Lord said, He said, "Be faithful unto death, and I shall give thee a crown of life." Because they're going to do all that to try to make you take the MOTB, the mark of the beast, man. You know? All right. So, you know, where was I at? All right. It says processing centers or concentrate. People are going to be thrown into concentration camps, man. All right. These FEMA camps to be tortured and tried. All right. Because with the description, let's read it. This is what Yahweh-Shai said, right? Yahweh-Shai said, Revelation 2:10. Right? All right, it reads. It says, fear none of those things. This is Yahweh-Shai speaking. You see these words in red? Revelation 2:10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Yeah, because Esau-Edom, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? When you read Revelation 12:12, it says that he's getting ready to come down with great wrath. Right? He's going to bring his martial law troops, all right, that are like madmen sparing none. Like Second Ezra the 16th chapter says. And they gon' be like madmen sparing none. They gonna be throwing people into these FEMA camps, these concentration camps, right? These prisons to be tortured and tried, right? But what did Yahweh-Shai say, right? And we are to hearken unto Yahweh-Shai. Did not Yahweh himself said, this is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased? Hear ye him. So we are to soak in every word that Yahweh-Shai has said. And we are to have great faith in his word, man. All right. Yahweh-Shai himself said, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil, which is Esau-Edom, the so-called white man, starting with the elites, right? All right, starting with the elites, it says, shall cast some of you into prison. All right, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. All right, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right, so some of us are gonna be thrown into prison. All right, by who? The devil. It's not talking about someone with it's not talking about the spiritual semen. The spiritual semen, yo, that's crazy. All right, the spiritual demon Satan, man. All right, because the spiritual demon Satan is not going to cast us into prison, man. All right, it's not going to be him himself that's casting us into prison, man. All right, a man with a pitchfork, a red man with a pitchfork and with horns on his head, man. Nah. It's talking about Esau-Edom, man. All right, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. All right, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. And those are powerful words. The Lord said, be faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Those are bars, bro. Woo! All right, and that's those, bro. Those words should give you chills, bro. That's powerful, man. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. A crown of life. That's an automatic crown, bro. To die for the name and word and testimony of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. All right? All right? And he that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death, which is the lake of fire, America being swallowed and engulfed by nuclear destruction. If you are to die, then to take the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, you're not going to be hurt of the second death. You're not going to be hurt by the nuclear destruction. But if you do take the mark of the beast, you are going to be hurt, all right, and swallowed by nuclear destruction. That's Revelation 14 and 9, all right, through 10, right? Let's go back into this book, all right? It says processing centers or concentration camps, all right? And we just broke that down, right? It says individuals who have been arrested and their property seized, all right, and sold at auction, all right, will then be transported, all right, with other descendants, all right, by trucks, bus, and air to, all right, FEMA managed, right? Yeah, the concentration camps, the prisons, right? FEMA managed, all right, regional federal prison transfer centers, all right? Then why just read that in the scriptures? Come on, man. All right, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, all right, for not taking this MOTB, all right, and ye shall be tried, all right, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. We are to die instead of taking the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. We are to die for Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. He died for us, right? We owe our entire and complete lives unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Because through his mercy and his grace, he has taken us out of gross darkness, man. Through his mercy and grace, we know the name of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, and we are able to receive the true understanding of his word, man. You know? All right? It says regional federal prison transfer center, all right, for proper categorization or disposition. All right? Entire families are to be disposed of in this manner. Neighbors and local communities will be given the excuse that surviving spouses and children of those arrested are being assisted by the government. All right, final disposition, all right, when deemed appropriate, will be made at a regional processing and detention center. The Nazis called, all right, such centers concentration camps. Yeah, I just said that. FEMA camps, concentration camps, these prisons, you're gonna be tried and tortured, man. All right, the men of the Lord, that is, right? Because that's who they're really after. All right, the true prophets and servants of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, right? It says in the Soviet Union, they were known as gulags. Yep. All right. At these centers, all right, methods and techniques of interrogation, torture. I just told you, torture, right? Interrogation, torture, because that's what you're going to be. Listen, Yahweh Shai said that ye shall be tried, all right? The devil, Esau, Edom, so-called white man, shall cast some of you into prison that ye may be tried, tortured, right? And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Yeah, they're going to put you through them troubles, man. That torture, right? 10 days. But the Lord said, what? Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Because they're going to try to convince you, torture you to take the MOTB, the mark of the beast. Right? But the Lord said, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Right? So techniques of interrogation, torture, and final disposition honed and developed by the CIA and special forces. Green Berets, through their Operation Phoenix program, are to be used on victimized citizens. All right? It says, during the Vietnam conflict, the federal government's top secret Operation Phoenix program was responsible for the arrest, incarceration, torture, and murder of over 50,000 innocent civilians. All right, the CIA and the U.S. Army Special Forces acclaimed it a success, all right, and a model and prototype for future human pacification programs. You see? All right. It says, for your own protection and safety, it says preliminary information on Project Lucid is even now being disseminated, all right, to federal law enforcement agencies. It can be expected that managers, all right, of these agencies will be briefed on how to use cover-up propaganda, all right, to cleverly respond to public and local press inquiries, all right, so that the awful truth will not become known until it is too late. And that's what they do now, bro. All right, it says, for example, government PR experts will reassure the frightened and startled masses that all constitutional protections remain in place. All right, worried citizens are also to be advised, all right, that the new system is designed to protect them. Yeah, quote unquote protect them, which is complete bullshit, man. All right. From savage acts by international domestic terrorists, all right, such as occurred in the Oklahoma City and New York's World Trade Center bombings. The public is to be conned, right? The public is to be conned into believing that Lucid is for your own good, and anyone who says differently is either a conspiracy nut or a dangerous anti-government protester. All right. Then it says God warned us, right? Yeah, through his prophets, right? The Most High speaks through his prophets. All right. And the prophets prophesy what? The word of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right. You know what? I'll leave it right there, and I'll do a part 2 to this. All right. So, with that being said, call Haloyam, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakar Kwadash. All right. Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Ratazah, this lesson is or was edifying. All right. And on to the next one. Shalom, shalom.